Welcome to Hotline TV, everyone. I'm Holly Noe.
And I'm Amy Walter. Well, Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama are both spending the day in Philly, but something tells me it's Obama's speech earlier this morning that will get the lion's share of attention. Let's take a quick look at what he had to say today.
For we have a choice in this country. We can accept a politics that breeds division and conflict and cynicism. We can tackle race only as spectacle, as we did in the O.J. trial, or in the wake of tragedy, as we did in the aftermath of Katrina, or as fodder for the nightly news. We can play Reverend Wright sermons on every channel, every day, and talk about them from now until the election, and make the only question in this campaign whether or not the American people think that I somehow believe or sympathize with his most offensive words. We can pounce on some gaffe by a Hillary supporter as evidence that she's playing the race card. Or we can speculate on whether white men will all flock to John McCain in the general election, regardless of his policies. We can do that. But if we do, I can tell you that in the next election, we'll be talking about some other distraction. And then another one. And then another one. And nothing will change.
All right, so Holly, you covered Barack Obama. You've been covering this speech. Do you think it makes a difference in the campaign?
Well, it kind of remains to be seen. We don't know how fast the news cycle is going to move on this one, but went into the speech with some very high expectations.
Right.
You know, people are looking for him to put the race issue behind him, but at the same time, they're looking for him to show that he can deal with it in a general election, because it's obviously going to come up from the right. And it's kind of a very delicate balancing act, because he has to, you know, do all of this while appearing presidential and forward-looking and unifying, and at the same time, like, he's not the one injecting race into the campaign.
But he didn't try to run away from it. I mean, he didn't gloss over the issue of race.
No.
You went back and you looked at what Mitt Romney did when he had to address the Mormon issue. He used the word Mormon 1 time in his speech. Obama used the word race 10 times. He talked about slavery. I mean, he brought up a lot of things that you'd think, this isn't, I mean, he went right after it, really appealing to, I think, still kept his message the same, which is appealing to the ability of Americans to work together, to transcend these discussions.
Yeah, he's trying to bring the focus back to his original message of, you know, unity and moving on to a next generation. And
what's going to be fascinating is, and we're already starting to see this, our good friend behind us, Ian, has been monitoring the blogs, and it's pretty clear that the division between how liberals saw the speech, which they obviously praised it very highly, and the way that conservatives see it, which is it didn't address many of the things that you pointed out, could be a real factor here, so that it's not going away anytime soon. It seems to me that
there's plenty of fodder for
a lot of those critics, because he did not distance himself from Jeremiah Wright. Should he have done that? Should he have just said, look, the guy's...
I don't know if he could have done that at this point, given what he said in the past. It might have been more damaging.
So why did he even put him on? Does this answer the question? I know he addresses it, but I don't know if it fully answered it, about why even put him on the campaign in an advisory role, knowing that this stuff would come up.
And that's true, and it raises the judgment questions too, because at the same time, Obama is, by bringing this out, he's trying to show, you know, that he has the judgment to admit, you know, mistakes and kind of address things as they evolve. But yet, you know, when he uses the same argument on Hillary Clinton with Iraq, kind of that going back to her original decision. And
and now he has to answer his own judgment questions. Seems to me the other person who's in somewhat of a box right now is Hillary Clinton and superdelegates. I mean, if Hillary Clinton's making the case, continues to make the case that we need to vet both candidates, that's why I want this process to go all the way till June. Can you, as a superdelegate, if Obama's leading among pledged delegates, which he will be at the end of this, leading among the popular vote, which he will be, even no matter how big her win in Pennsylvania ends up being, that they can come back and say, well, electability is the reason I'm picking Hillary Clinton. Don't we assume that for many voters, electability is just a code word for acceptable to white voters, and that just is going to be more problematic for Democrats who don't want to alienate or look as if they are dividing the party even more.
It'll be interesting to see how the other candidates respond today, how superdelegates respond, and the fight isn't going to be over anytime soon.
Right. So he addressed it, but didn't sort of put it away, right? the issue's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Okay. Well, we've run out of time for today's show, but we could keep talking on and on and on.
We certainly could.
Yes.
Be sure to check back here tomorrow for the next episode of Hotline TV.